All right, we are looking at new data on this Friday for the snow that's coming not just today, tonight, into tomorrow for parts of the Midwest, the Northeast. We've got a stripe of snow, and some of that lake effect snow could get pretty heavy. We're going to dive into some of the details. We're going to show you some of the new numbers coming out. That could be pretty impactful, especially for parts of, say, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. Pretty interesting to see that. A decent swath of snow heading into Saturday morning, moving across Iowa. We're going to look at the totals in just a second. That swings into Illinois, Indianapolis. You're getting the snow, Dayton. That snow continues to push to the east as we move through Saturday. There's also going to be some light snow that's going to be moving through parts of Michigan tonight into Ontario. Some of these snow bands could get a little heavy at times, and then it's going to get really windy behind this too, with almost a westerly trajectory of the wind here off of Superior, putting some of that lake effect here into parts of Ontario. More snow, though, again, sliding to the south and east as we head through the day on Saturday. Snow picking up in Pittsburgh, and that snow could get heavy at times, especially down here, I think, along the West Virginia PA border. Winter storm watch is out for a good part of West Virginia right now, also parts of Pennsylvania. Weather.gov, make sure you check it out to see if you're under any type of warning or watches. And then here we go. New data coming in on the NAM today. This was the early morning run. If you look at the newest run from the midday today, this came out late this morning. Very similar in trajectory. I would argue that it might be trying to move things out quickly, but I think you got to watch as the snow ends. Boy, it could come down pretty heavy for just a little while. If it stuck around, it would really start to accumulate, but I think it's going to move out pretty quickly. Cape Cod getting some snow out of this, and then the lake effect snow machine turns on, and it could stick around through the weekend as this cold air moves into this region. All right, let's detail the snow numbers, and this is some of the new data. This is the national blended model. You're looking at a good 2 to 4 inches of snow, I think, especially once you get here into parts of central New Jersey. Looking really interesting here. Up to New York City, I think we get some accumulation. 1 to 3 out on Long Island. There could be an isolated pocket of 4 inches of snow. Same thing for Cape Cod. 1 to 3. If you get lucky, maybe you get 4, but downwind of Lake Ontario, that snow starts to pick up. Notice how there's a bit of a snow hole here, right? As your energy moves towards the coast, you're going to get low pressure developing. It's actually going to be much further to the east. But anyway, you don't see as much snow falling here across Pennsylvania. The national blended models here, again, the blend isn't showing the snow. The official forecast lining up with this too. But look at the pinks showing up here across southern Pennsylvania, just to the south of Pittsburgh. That snow could get heavy here into northern West Virginia too, with 6 to 8, maybe 10 inches of snow. And then the lake effect will continue to pile up east and south of the lakes. A closer look here into Pennsylvania. Look at this. I mean, you get into Pittsburgh, you're still talking about 4 to 6 inch. The official forecast for Pittsburgh, 5.2 on the blended model here. Forecasting, I think, somewhere between 4 and 6 inches right now from the National Weather Service. And there's some questions. Do we get heavier amounts? Maybe even more than this just south of town. It's there. Look back into Ohio. More snow here from Columbus. A good 2 to 4, maybe more than that. Maybe more like 3 to 5. If you look at this heavier band that sets up across central Ohio, down into West Virginia, 2 to 4. Once you get up into the higher elevations, I think you're looking at more like 6 to 10. So an impactful storm here across the mountain state, and that stripe of snow will impact travel as we head through. Look at the time if you want to track it out through Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening across this area. And then heading into Sunday, things get a little quieter. Further to the west, the snow arriving earlier here on Saturday afternoon across central Illinois into Indianapolis. So into the snow coming in. To me, it looks like a good 3 to 4 inch snow for you. There's going to be a sharp cutoff line to the north, but the lake effect kicks in off of Lake Michigan. Also a cutoff line to the south, where we did see some snow earlier this week. This system tracking a little further to the north. Into Iowa, expect the snow to pick up into Des Moines as we head into Saturday. It's all said and done by the time we move into the afternoon. And again, across Montana, we're already snowing here, and we're going to see more on the way as that snow continues to fly. It'll start to settle down, though, once we get into Saturday as the weather pattern starts to shift up. And a quick look at the snow totals across the west. Not much happening across the Pacific Northwest as far as snow goes. That will pick up, though, more as we head into next week, I think, as it starts to turn a lot colder across this area. It's going to turn colder, too, across a lot of the east. Look at these numbers. These are not wind chill values. We're talking about air temperatures well below zero as we head into Sunday morning. 20 below possible for parts of the upper Midwest. That cold air does modify some as it heads south, but you can see really cold air on the way, and it sticks around through the weekend into the first part of next week. But here comes your rebound with some warmer temperatures. We're back up into the 30s and 40s, really warm across the south as we head into next week. But here's the deal. I don't think the cold is going to go away, right? I think there's going to be one heck of a rebound on the way after this cold air drops in. We were looking at the long range outlook earlier today. I'll have another update this coming weekend. So if you enjoy looking at that kind of stuff, long range, if that's your thing, come on back. We will track it. This cold is not going to stick around. Warmer weather moving into the plains. And I'm just letting this roll to show you. You can see how temperatures go from nearly 20 below to pretty warm. All right, but check out what even the GFS is showing. Some cold air tries to intrude, at least the northern tier. I don't know that we break much here across north of this line. In fact, we may change the way our storm track moves, and that could put some snow in different areas than what we've seen lately. All right, let's look at the European here. We'll take this out through the next couple of days anyway. There comes the snow, again, into the northeast, into the mid-Atlantic, across the west. Thankfully, a bit of a break across Washington. Someone said, please pay more attention to the Pacific Northwest. If you're watching me in other areas of the country, you're saying, what? No, I don't care. Listen, here's the deal. This is a national, almost I would argue, North American forecast. I'm not going to dig into every single place, but boy, I got to tell you, you folks have had some real flooding here, a bit of a break across Washington state, thankfully, as we head into Saturday. However, the snow continues to pile up into the mountains here of British Columbia, a lot of onshore flow, and that fire hose comes back into Washington, unfortunately, with more precipitation here heading into Monday and Tuesday. A bit of a break from the cold. We've talked about that as we see this start to get locked up into Canada. Here's the deal, though. I think this cold is just going to sit here. What we're not seeing this year, and I'm telling you, this is different. Screaming Pacific jet that scours out the cold, right? When that happens and you start to change the weather pattern, you don't have cold air to tap into to pull south. That is not the case right now. MJO is also entering phase 8, which is a favorable phase for colder weather in North America. All right? I think people are lecturing me sometimes in the comments. Did you not see the MJO? I do, and I'm telling you, you're hearing all this about a screaming warm up and winter's over. I do not think it is. I think we're not even officially into winter yet. And the pattern this year, this looks a lot different than even last year. And I would go back to the last decade or so back. I think back when I was forecasting, I don't know, sometime when I was working in TV, maybe it was 17, 18, somewhere in there. We just had this screaming Pacific jet. It might have been 19. Honestly, I just can't remember. We don't see that this year. And I think that's why it's significantly different with the cold that could reload and really unload winter again into the central and eastern U.S. Now, what about Texas? What about the South? What are we looking at? Well, let me tell you what, there's a lot of snow on the ground here, at least if you compare the last couple of years. An updated detailed outlook this weekend about where the snow cover is and how that might impact January and February. I need to do some research. I really want to dig into a couple of other things and look back at some past winters that kind of looked like this. So more to come. Just a quick update on the snow today. Be safe, guys. See you next time.